Welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. A little late because the time in Marrakesh is magic time, and we kind of got lost in the magic. So, but Ali managed to guide the carpet into out of celestial time into earthly time. So we're here. We once more have our set for children, and we have two fantastic, amazing storytellers tonight. We have Janina Vigurs, big round of applause, and we have Baba-C, big round of applause. But we will start with Janina. Janina, the stage is yours. And Ali, can you keep an eye out for Louis because he's not appeared yet? Thank you. Janina, please go. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here with you on story time. It's lovely for you to be here, and you, and oh my goodness me, hello everybody, it's so wonderful to see you. My name is Janina, and I am a storyteller, and I am in the UK because we have got people from all over the world joining us today, and it's so excited. You're in the UK too, aren't you? And that's really convenient because we're in the because you're right here, right next to me. Hello. Fantastic. Well, do you know, at the moment in the UK, it is 22 minutes past 6 in the evening, and I've just had my dinner, and you just had your dinner too.
I'm never going to bed.
But do you know, in other places in the world, it's not dinner time, it's breakfast time. And some people have toast for breakfast, some people have curry, some people have rice, some people have soup, some people have sushi, that's right, yeah, and some people have porridge.
Daddy always does. Every breakfast, even some lunch times and dinner times.
That's right. Yeah, Daddy has porridge every single day, day in, day out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's right. And this story is about porridge. And this story is just for you, not for anyone else, just you watching and listening to this story right now. So if you have an ear on this side of your head, give it a wiggle and give it a pull. Lovely. And if you have an ear on this side of your head, give it a wiggle, give it a pull. We're going to need those. If you have any wiggles left in your legs or your bottom, give those a wiggle now. Get yourself lovely and comfortable. Get yourself lovely and comfortable. That's fantastic. And the last thing we need to do, because there are always 3 things that we need to do before we tell a story. The last thing we need to do is to open our heart. So take your hand, place it on your heart. Just feel it there for a moment. And give your heart a rub and let it know that there is a story coming. It's just for you. This story happened way, way, way back, right at the beginning of everything. There lived a very small girl. She was about this tall, and she lived with her mummy, who was also quite small, but a tiny bit taller because she was a tiny bit older. And they lived in a house with a pointy, pointy roof. And they were very, very, very happy because even though they didn't have much in their house, there wasn't a fancy table. There were just 3 chairs. And there wasn't a lovely lush carpet on the floor. There was just a very thin rug. Their house was absolutely jam-packed with love. Oh, there was so much love in the house that it was seeping out of the windows. There was so much love in the house that it crept out underneath the kitchen door. There was love absolutely everywhere. In fact, all over the floor. You had to pick up your feet and be careful not to trip over it. That's how much love there was in that house. This particular day, small girl came downstairs and went into the kitchen to find something for breakfast. She opened the cupboard. Wasn't much in there. She went to the fridge. Wasn't much in there either. She looked up, she looked down, she looked all around. She did find one very small, thin, dry piece of bread and thought, this will never do. She sat down with a hungry tummy, and then her mum came down and saw her looking really, really sad. And she said, daughter, what's the problem? What's wrong? Little girl said, oh, mummy, there's nothing for breakfast and I am so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry that... Oh. And then daughter had an idea. She said, mummy, I'm so hungry, but I think I've got a solution. Last week when I went to the market, I went past a huge blackberry bush. And on the huge blackberry bush, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blackberries. And they were, or blueberries. Alice has just gone out into our garden and picked some blueberries from our blueberry bush.
Mine.
From your blueberry. Thanks very much. Should we change you to blueberries? What do you all think?
I can get some more.
Let's change it. Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much. There we go. Fresh blueberries straight from the bush. How fabulous. I'm going to put those there. Oh, wow. Mummy, she said, why don't I walk down the path and go to that blueberry bush and pick some blueberries for our breakfast, because one piece of thin dry bread is not going to feed both of us. Good plan, said Mummy. Off you go. And so she did. She ran as fast as her tiny thin legs would carry her. When she ran, you'll be back with more. Excellent. When she ran, she made this sound as her feet hit the floor as fast as she could. She went. She ran. When she stopped, she got to the blackberry bush and oh my goodness, it was heaving with fat, ripe, round, juicy blueberries. Oh my goodness, they were delicious. She picked one and put it into her hand. And then she picked another and another and another, and soon she had more than could fit into her tiny hand. She thought, that's not enough though, so she started to fill her pockets. And when her pockets were full, she pulled out the bottom of her dress and made a basket from the bottom of her dress and filled that high. And eventually, when she couldn't possibly fit any more into her dress, she turned round and started carefully walking back home. She was nearly home when she saw somebody coming towards her on that long, dry, dusty path. That somebody coming towards her got closer and closer and closer and closer until they were right up next to her. Small daughter stopped and looked. The person was thin and tall and had a long nose and lips as thin as 2 pieces of string. They were shrouded in a long black cloak and looked very mysterious indeed. The person spoke to her and said, "Excuse me, those blueberries look ever so delicious, and my stomach is so empty I can hear it rumbling as loud as thunder. Could I possibly maybe just have one of those fat, ripe, juicy blueberries?" Small Girl was kind. And so she said, well, yes. And picked out the biggest and fattest and ripest and juiciest one that she could and said, yes, here we go. You can have this. The mysterious old lady took the blueberry and pushed it in through her teeth. And, oh, it was delicious. But gone. Thank you, she said, and she turned to leave. Small Girl looked at the enormous pile of blueberries that she had in the bottom of her dress and said, wait, you can have some more. In fact, you can have all of them. You need these blueberries more than I do. Well, the mysterious old woman was so taken aback that an enormous smile spread across her face and she said, oh, thank you so much. You are so kind. You are so sweet. You are sweeter than one of these delicious blueberries. In fact, you are so kind and so sweet, I would like to give you a present. I would like to give you a present. She reached inside her cloak and pulled out a bowl. In fact, in the original story, it was a saucepan, but let's turn it into a bowl because that's what Alice has bought. Thank you, Alice. She said, this is not just any bowl. Oh, no. This is a magic bowl. That's right. This is a magic bowl. Whenever you are hungry, all you need to say, thank you. All you need to say is cook, little pot, cook. And as soon as you say those words, the bowl or the pot will be full of the most warmest, richest, creamiest, most delicious tasting porridge you've ever had. And you can eat and eat and eat, and it will always be full. When you are full up, just say, stop, little pot, stop. And when you do, the bowl will be as clean as empty as the day I have given it to you. Well, the girl said, okay, thank you. This sounds very useful. And she put it on, tucked it under her arm and ran off as fast as she could all the way back home. When she got home, her mummy was sat on one of those chairs and said, oh, she said, oh, goody, 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 you're home. Where are the blueberries? I'm so hungry. Little girl said, bits instead. What is that? Can I eat it? No, I can't eat it. What is it? What use is that going to be? We haven't got anything to cook in it. This is ridiculous. Ah, Mummy, she said, this is a magic bowl, a magic pot. When we are hungry, all we need to say are these magic words. All we need to say is, cook, little pot, cook. And when we say that, the pot will be filled to the brim with the warmest, creamiest, most delicious tasting porridge you've ever had. And when we are finished eating, all we need to say is, stop, little pot, stop. And then the bowl or the pot will be empty again. Oh, said her mummy, that does sound very interesting. Do you have any blueberries, though? Oh, no, said the little girl. I gave them all to the mysterious old woman that I met on the road coming towards it, and she gave me the... Would you be able to go and get some more? Said Mummy, and then we can have blueberries in our porridge, and that will be amazing. Well, little girl said, yes, I can do that because I didn't pick every single last one. So little girl ran off back to the blueberry bush. She ran all the way to the blueberry bush, and she picked. Back home, as she was waiting, her mother thought, a magic pot. Let's see. So she got close to the pot and said those magic words. Cook, little pot, cook. And of course, as soon as she said those words, the pot was full of the warmest, creamiest, most delicious tasting porridge that she had ever had. Tasted like it had cream in it and golden syrup. Oh, it was good. It was really good. She started to eat and 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 eat. And she ate and ate and ate. Not yet. She ate and ate and ate until her belly was full. She slumped back into one of those hard little wooden chairs and said, "Oh, I'm stuffed. I couldn't eat another thing," she said. "Oh, goodness me." She looked over at the pot and it had risen back up. It was full to the brim of the warmest, creamiest, most delicious tasting porridge that she'd ever had, despite her filling her belly almost to bursting point. "Oh," she said, "it's all right, pot. I don't need any more, thank you." But the pot didn't listen. It kept on cooking. Porridge rose up and started to dribble down the side onto the floor. "Oh," she said. She wiped it up. "That's enough, pot. You can just hang on there a minute. I don't need any more porridge now, thank you." But the pot didn't stop. It carried on cooking. And now, instead of there being one dribble, there were two dribbles coming down onto the floor. "Oh," she said, "oh, goodness me. Oh, it's making such a terrible mess. Oh, dear. Oh, dear." And she looked around for a cloth. She picked up a cloth and started cleaning up the porridge. Pot carried on cooking. "That's enough, little pot," she said. I don't need any more porridge. You can just wait with the porridge now. I don't need any more." But the pot didn't hear her, didn't stop cooking. And so 3 dribbles came down the side of the pot. And soon there was a big puddle. "Oh, goodness me," she said. She started to get quite annoyed. Sometimes mummies get quite annoyed when there's a big mess. And so she looked around and went to get the mop. That's how big a puddle of porridge there was on the floor. "Oh, goodness me," she said. "Look, it's going to take me absolutely ages to clear all this up." Now she started mopping frantically. "Porridge, you're making such a porridge pot, you're making such a dreadful mess. Look, it's going absolutely everywhere. This will never do. Goodness me. Just quit now. That's enough." But the pot didn't stop. It carried on cooking until there were dribbles coming down every side of the bowl, filling the room. There was so much porridge, it began to follow the love and seep out underneath the door. The porridge turned from a puddle into a small river, and it flowed out underneath the kitchen door into the sitting room. Flowed out from the sitting room into the garden, and it flowed from the garden into next door's garden too, until there was no more grass and no more pebbles and no more ponds outside, because they were all covered with porridge. Now, by this time, small girl had finished collecting all more of her blueberries in her bottom of her dress, and she turned around and started to walk back down the hill. She got to the point on the hill, on the path, where she could see out over the whole village and spot her house. She saw that she could only see the roof of her pointy house sticking up from under a sea of porridge. Porridge everywhere. And all the people that lived in the village were sitting up on top of their roofs. There was her mummy on top of her roof. She looked over to the church, and there was the vicar hanging onto the spire of the church, and over to the school, and there were all of her teachers sat up on the roof of the school. "Oh no," she thought, "this is awful." And so she stood on the brow of that hill on the path, on the long, dry, dusty path, and as loud as she could, she shouted those magic words: "Stop, little pot, stop!" And as soon as she shouted those words, well, the bowl was as empty and as clean and as shiny as it was on a day that the old lady had given it to her. But the village was still full of porridge. Porridge absolutely everywhere. It was like an ocean. Now, small girl didn't quite know what to do at this point. She didn't know how she was going to get home, but she was a very good swimmer. So she walked all the way down to the edge of the porridge, rolled up her sleeves, dropped the blueberries, and dove into the sea of porridge. And she swam, and she swam, and she swam all the way through the porridge. It was quite thick and sticky, but she got all the way to her house. And when she got to her house, she swam into the kitchen and pulled open the cutlery drawer and picked up every single spoon, every ladle, every serving spoon, every teaspoon. She shoved them under her arm. And then she did quite a tricky thing. She swam with one arm all the way outside. And she got to outside. She looked up to the roof of her house and saw her mummy up there on the top. And she said, "Mummy, mummy, mummy, catch." She threw a spoon up to her. And then she turned around. She swam all the way over to the church. And she saw the vicar. She said, "Vicar, vicar, catch." And he caught the spoon. She swam all the way up to her school, looked at her teachers, and she said, "Catch!" Threw spoons up to them as well. So every person in her village had a spoon, and every person was looking down at the porridge. And the only thing left to do now was to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And they ate for a day, and they ate for a week, and they ate for a month, and they ate for a whole year. And I think if you were to visit that village now, you would probably still see them eating all of that porridge. But they didn't mind, because it was the warmest, creamiest, most delicious tasting porridge that they had ever had. And that is the end of that story, the magic porridge pot. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Alice, for all of our delicious
Alice did very well as an assistant.
did incredibly well. I've never really... Oh, you squished them into the carpet. That's okay. That's all right. Come and have your applause. There we go.
Oh, there you go, Alice. Big round of applause for Alice.
Put my blueberries in my.
We might come back to Janina at the end for another story if there's time, but right now
I think I'm going to have to duck off. So Shane might have to take over there.
Well, I think,
or maybe Mike, or maybe Norman.
We're okay on time. I'm gonna try and get them to do something maybe next week, but the week after. I think I want Mike and Kath Edwards to do a pirate thing together sometime. I don't know if I gave them a week to do that. Have I done that yet? No. Right, I'll sort that. Are you available next week, Mike? I'll see if Kath is available. But right now, big round of applause for Janina. And we'll go across to Washington, D.C. And one big round of applause for Alice. And we're going to Washington, D.C. And we're going to Baba-C.
Thank you, Asante. Okay, so I'm in a little bit of a quandary because I have two stories I want to tell, and I'm not sure which one I want to tell first. Janina, if you're going to stick around for a moment, that will have made my decision. Can you stick around for a few minutes?
Can I stick around? Yeah, just for a moment. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
How can I help?
So, well, I want to tell the story because of you and your helper. That's what I want to do. Okay? So, it's summertime, and as you know, there are mosquitoes everywhere. And mosquitoes are constantly buzzing in people's ears. And I want to tell the story of why the mosquito buzzes in people's ears. Now, here's my challenge. I had to do this story for another project the other day. Ordinarily, it's a 30-minute story, but I had to tell it in 3 minutes. So today, I don't want to tell it in 3 minutes, but I don't want to take 30 minutes. I'm going to put it somewhere in between. All right? So if you can stick around, This is because you've inspired me to tell this story. And if you can't stick around, I understand. But this story began a long time ago. I had to cut it short because sometimes my mic cuts me out. So, in the jungle, there were several rules, and one of them was you always had to tell the truth at the watering hole, and the other is you never ran during the day unless it was an emergency or danger. So one day the mosquito was mosquitoing around, and it saw its best friend, the iguana, and it told the iguana, "You know what I saw today? I saw a farmer digging up yams as big as me." As big as a mosquito? The iguana said, "Whack, whack." That's not the sound iguanas make, but that's my sound effect. He said, "Whack, whack." He said, "Mosquito, I have no time for hearing such foolishness. Who would dig up such teeny yams?" "No, really. The farmer was digging up yams as big as me." "Shame on yourself. You're only supposed to tell the truth around here. I don't have time for this foolishness." And then the iguana did something I don't recommend doing at home, but he was a trained professional. He picked up 2 branches and stuck them in his ears. And now he couldn't hear anything. And the mosquito kept going, but he couldn't hear anything. So he kept walking along, whack, 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 whack. And Brother Snake came up, and he saw Iguana, and he went to speak to him. He said, "Hello, Iguana. Sss, how are you today?" Sss. But all Iguana heard was, and he turned toward the snake, and the snake was startled because Iguana had these great big things coming out of his ears. He said, "Oh no, I must have done something to offend Iguana. He's going to hurt me with that weapon in his ears." And so Snake turned around and slithered down the hole of a rabbit. He went down the rabbit hole. Rabbit saw the snake coming in. The rabbit went, "Oh no, the snake is going to eat me." And it ran out the back of his hutch. When it ran out the back of his hutch, it was hopping as fast as it could. And a monkey was up in a tree. And the monkey saw the rabbit running. He said, "It must be an emergency. I better go tell the king." And he swung from branch to branch to branch to branch. Oops, one branch broke, and it tumbled, and it fell all the way down, and it landed in a nest. And unfortunately, there was an owlet in the nest, and the branch caused the owlet to join its ancestors. When Mother Owl came home that evening, she was settling in her nest and noticed that her owlet was no longer in the land of the living, and she was so sad, so sad, so sad, so sad. You see, the sun had just set, and Mother Owl was so sad she did not do her job, and her job was to bring forth the morning sun. After a while, the animals in the jungle began to wonder, why is night lasting so long? And they went to see the Oba, the king. And they said, "Oh, mighty Oba, what is going on? Why has the sun not been awakened? Why has Mother Owl not done her job?" And the king said, "Servants, bring me Mother Owl." And they brought him Mother Owl. And the king said, "Why have you not brought forth the morning sun?" And Mother Owl said, "When I came home and I landed in my nest, my owlet had been sent to the ancestors, and I'm so sad, much too sad to bring forth the morning sun. And I will not bring forth the morning sun until justice is done. I need to know who dropped the branch on my baby." The king said, "We must get to the bottom of this." And someone in the audience said, "I saw the monkey. I saw the monkey. The monkey dropped that branch." There's always somebody in the, So they went and they brought the monkey forth. And the king said, "Monkey, why did you drop the branch that sent the baby owl to the ancestors, and now Mother's owl is too sad to bring forth the morning sun?" The monkey said, Oh, no. I know I play tricks, but I'm not responsible for this. I was minding my business up in the tree. No, I really was. I was. And I saw the rabbit running through the forest. And you know the law of the jungle. You don't run in the daylight unless there is danger or an emergency. So I was on the way here to tell you, my king. I didn't mean to drop the branch that killed the baby owl that made Mother Owl so sad she didn't bring forth the morning sun. But it's the rabbit's fault. Bring me the rabbit. And everybody went looking for the rabbit. And they found him. And they brought the rabbit forth. Why were you running in the Why were you running in the forest? I, 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 I was in my rabbit hole, and this big snake came in, and it scared me. So I ran out the back. I didn't mean to startle the monkey who broke the branch that killed the baby owl. That now Mama Owl won't bring forth the morning sun. But it's not my fault. It was a snake. I was just trying to save my life. Bring me the snake. And they brought in the snake, and they brought in the snake, and it was a long snake, and they brought in the snake. Snake, why were you trying to eat the rabbit? Eat what? Oh, no, my king. I wasn't trying to eat the rabbit. See, I was speaking to Iguana, and Iguana had these great big things in his ears, and I thought he was about to attack me, so I ran down the hole for safety. I did not mean to scare the rabbit that startled the monkey that broke the branch that killed the baby owl, and now Mama Owl won't bring forth the morning sun. But it wasn't my fault. It was the iguana's fault. Bring me the iguana. And so they went looking for the iguana, and they found the iguana, and they basically lifted the iguana up, put him forth the king. And the king said, Iguana, why did you attack the snake? But Iguana had these big branches in his ears, and once again, don't try this at home, they were trained professionals. And all he heard was, take those ridiculous things out of his ear. Why were you trying to attack the snake? Attack the snake? Attack the snake? I wasn't trying to attack the snake. I was down at the watering hole, and the mosquito came up to me going, I saw a farmer digging up yams as big as me. No one has time for that foolishness. And he's not telling the truth. I didn't want to hear those lies, so I stuck those things in my ear so I couldn't hear them. I didn't mean to frighten the snake who startled the rabbit, that startled the monkey, that dropped the branch that killed the baby owl, and now Mama Owl won't bring forth the morning sun. But it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It was the mosquito's fault. Bring me Mosquito. But Mosquito had been up on a leaf listening to what was going on. So everyone went looking for Mosquito, and when they went that way, Mosquito went this way. When they went this way, Mosquito went that way. When they looked up, Mosquito went down. When they looked down, Mosquito went up. And they kept searching Mosquito and searching for Mosquito and searching for Mosquito and searching for Mosquito. But fortunately, Mother Owl realized that it was an accident. And although she was sad that her child was no longer in the land of living, she decided to do her job. And she went up and brought forth the morning sun. But even to this day, Mosquito thinks people are still angry with Mosquito. So Mosquito goes around and comes around people's ears and goes, are you still angry with me? And people answer by going, and that is why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears. Asante. So that was that one. Do I have time for another one?
Always got time for another one.
So, Yanaya, if you have to go, I understand, but you inspired me to tell that story today, and the little one did too. Blueberries were one of my favorite, blueberries and blackberries are two of my favorite fruits, especially in pies. And one day I have to tell a story about when I was a counselor and my guys and I got blackberry pies. It was one of the berry pies. And Cook fixed them enough only for my cabinet, because only my cabinet went looking for the berries. But I have to tell that story another time. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Baba-C. Thank you so much for that story. Did we enjoy that? Yeah.
Okay. So
thank you so much.
The other story I have for today, it's entirely
Baba-C,
different.
I enjoyed the story.
Thank you, Erica. That makes my day. Oh, yes, makes my day. Makes my day. That's the old song from way back before Erica and probably most people in this room were born. Telling on myself, but that's okay. So this story comes from Cape Verde, which is just off of the coast of Africa. Is that the west? That's the west coast? No, that's the east. It's off one of the coasts. But Cape Verde, and Cape Verde at one time was colonized by the Portuguese. So this is a story about a doctor, and the doctor's name was Lelex, sometimes called Lelexi. But Dr. Lelexi was a very good doctor. In fact, he was probably one of the best doctors on all of Cape Verde. And one day, he was sitting down milking a goat, because That's how you milk a goat. At least I think it is. I'm a city kid, and yeah. Oh, you do like that? Okay. It's a little goat. Mike, did I get your goat? But anyhow, so he milked the goat. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the devil appeared. And the devil said, doctor, I want some of that milk. The doctor said, oh no, you can't have any of this milk. I want the milk. And I said, no, devil, you can't have this milk. And the devil turned itself into a big rat and jumped in the gourd. Well, it was wider than this, but jumped in the gourd that he was milking, that he was putting the milk in, and stayed down there and started drinking up all the milk. So the doctor got up, got a shovel, dug a hole, put the gourd down in the hole, and covered it up with dirt. A farmer happened to be walking along. Wow, what a small farmer. A farmer happened to be walking along, and he walked on top of the dirt that compressed down the gourd, cracked the gourd, and the devil popped out. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm minding my business and I suddenly see the devil standing before me, I'm not staying to ask any questions. And the farmer took off. Zoom, zoom. And the doctor started to run, and the devil said, no, doctor. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not angry. I'm not mad at you. But I have a proposition for you. I want to do a little business with you. Now, I got to ask you a question. I'm going to ask Shane. Shane, if the devil appeared before you and wanted to do business with you, would you do business? Please say no.
No.
Thank you. I was going to ask Mike, but I think he might say yes, but that's another story. Okay. Thank you, Mike. So the doctor realized him was the devil. I mean, what can he do against the devil? He said, business? What kind of business? There's a princess in Portugal who I'm about to pay a visit. And I'm going to make her so sick, none of the doctors in Portugal will be able to cure her. And the king will send for you, and only you will be able to cure her. And whatever you charge the king, I get half. So the doctor said, okay, but the doctor was thinking, okay, because he knew about the devil. And the devil was gone. Poof, just like that. Well, the devil was instantly in Portugal. By the way, back then, this was before jets, before planes, before helicopters. It would take you 6 days to reach Portugal by steamship. At least that's what I'm told. So, and he possessed the princess. And she was so sick. Oh, I can't eat any porridge from that beautiful bowl. Oh, it hurts. Oh. And the doctors came from all over Portugal, and they couldn't make her any better. And then a servant said, Your Highness, Sir, King, I had a dream that there was a doctor in Cape Verde that could heal the princess. The king said, well, then we must have that. We must have that doctor. Go fetch me this doctor. And they sent a warship to fetch the doctor. Well, the doctor was minding his business. And all of a sudden, here are all these soldiers saying, the king wants you now. Okay. Honey, I'll be back. I'm not sure when, but I'll be back. That's what he called his wife, honey. She was just that sweet. Boom. Anyhow, so he got on the ship and he went to Portugal. And when he got to Portugal, the princess was in such agony. She was wailing and writhing and wailing, and it was not a pretty sight. And the king said, can you heal my daughter? I was told by one of my servants that he had a dream that you could heal my daughter. Oh, yes, I'm sure I can heal your daughter. However, I need to be alone with the patient. Everybody out. So everybody left. Alone with the princess, the doctor said, Loose. That's short for Lucifer. He says, stop possessing that princess. I need to talk to you now. And so the devil left the princess and materialized in front of the doctor. The doctor said, you're not nice. No, I'm the devil. Okay, now, you're out. She's better. I've kept my part of the bargain. No. Whatever you charge the doctor, whatever you charge the king, I get half. That's the deal. Poof. The devil was gone. He went straight to home. Well, the king said, oh, you made my princess, my daughters well. I will give you whatever you want. What do you charge? What is your price? How much do I owe you? What is your price for curing my princess, my daughter? And the doctor said, I charge you nothing. You owe me nothing. The king said, what? I charge you nothing. I'm a doctor. It's what we do. I charge you nothing. There is no price for me curing your daughter. The doctor said, well, I can't let this stand. I can't send you home with nothing. So I'm sending you on a mighty ship, and I'm going to fill the ship with gold and other valuables and the finest cloth so that you can wear the best of the best for the rest of your life. And that's what he did. And so he got all the way back to Cape Verde with all the gold and other valuables and these fine cloths. And the devil materialized. And the devil was furious. Teresa, why do you think the devil was furious?
Because he's generally angry, I think.
Okay, yes. Mike, I'm going to give you a chance. Mike, why do you think the devil was angry with the doctor?
I've got a feeling it's because the fee charged was nothing. So you get half of nothing, which is nothing.
And as Bill Withers said, right, and as Bill Withers once sang, you got to have something if you want to be with me. Anyhow, moving on with the story. He was furious. He said, the least you could have done was charge him 2 boats so I could have 1. Oh, but you think you've won, human, but you have not. I'm going back to the kingdom. I'm going to make the princess sick again, and this time nothing you can do will cure her. We'll see who has the last laugh. And just like that, the devil was gone. Well, a few weeks later, he received word that the princess was sick again and that there was a warship coming to get him. So he turned to his wife and he said, honey, I don't think I'm going to be coming back this time, but I've told you where all the money is. There's enough fine cloth to clothe you and the children for the rest of your lives. And I just want you to know, honey, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So when the king's soldiers appeared, he got on board the warship, and they went back to Portugal. And when they got there, oh, it was not a pretty sight. Oh, she was so sick, so sick. She was sick, sick, sick. She was so sick, if you had a book and looked up sick, you would have seen the princess's picture. She was sick. The king said, can you cure my daughter? And the doctor said, I will do my best. He said, you better, or you'll pay the price. But I need to be alone with the patient. So he went inside, and she was writhing and moaning and writhing and moaning and writhing and moaning. Oh, it was not a pretty sight. Loose, loose, come out, come out. But the devil paid him no mind. Loose, loose, for the love of... Loose, come out. But he paid him no mind. So the doctor stepped back out in the hallway, and the king was sitting there. Is she well? I need you to do something for me, your lordship, your kingship. I need you to get your best musketeers, stand under the princess's windows, point the muskets away from her window, and I need them to all fire at the same time. You must do this 6 times. So all the musket men got together. They loaded their muskets, and they fired. Bam! Once. They loaded and fired. Bam! Twice. They loaded and they fired. Bam! 3 times. This went on until they had fired 6 times. By now, the doctor was back in the room. And the devil screamed, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I'm afraid she's so sick, they've sent notice to the surgeons. They're going to cut her open in the morning. And the devil said, oh, I didn't sign on for this. If they cut her, I'll feel the pound. And poof, the devil stopped possessing the girl and was standing in front of the physician. And he realized he had been fooled again. He said, do it right this time. I know where you live. And poof, the devil went straight to home. The king came in and saw his princess, his daughter, was well again. And he said, oh, you've done such a terrific job. whatever your price is, whatever you charge, no matter the amount, it is yours. How much do I owe you? And the king and the doctor said, you owe me nothing. Not one, nothing, nothing. The king said, okay, but I cannot send you back to Cape Verde with nothing because I'm the king. What will people think of me? So he sent him on a massive ship, once again, laden, or for other folk, laden with gold and valuables and the finest cloths and woods and materials. And he sent him all the way back to Cape Verde. And the devil appeared. He said, I want my due. But once again, he was owed nothing. The devil was furious. He had been outwitted by a human, by a mere mortal. He was so angry. He was so angry. He was so angry that he went straight to home. And never bothered the doctor again. Now, I'm not going to say that the King of Portugal had given this man riches beyond imaginations. But after he became an ancestor, and his wife became an ancestor, and his children became ancestors, and their descendants became ancestors, there was still money left over. And some people insist to this very day that the money that we have all over the world is the money that was left over after the doctor and his descendants transitioned and became ancestors. True or no, I don't know. But oops, I stepped on a pin, the pin bent, and that's the way that story went. Asante.
Fantastic as always, Baba-C. Now, the thing is that when the storytellers like you and Janina on, time just goes like that, and time has shot. Janina, have you got a short story that Alice would allow you to tell?
Bye, John. I am going. It's late in India.
Yes.
Hey, Erica, did you enjoy the stories?
Yes, Baba-C, I enjoyed the stories. They were wonderful.
Thank you, but we enjoy you. You're wonderful.
Bye-bye, Erica.
Hi, Erica.
We'll see you on Tuesday. And if you want to come on Sunday to the Worldwide Story Round, you would be welcome. But Tuesday...
Thank you, John Rowe. I will come.
Yeah, so, but Tuesday we look forward to you, as always. And all your friends. That's so many good friends on Tuesday night.
Yes, John Rowe.
Thank you, but
She is so
Thank you,
wonderful.
John Rowe. Bye, everyone.
bye,
Until the
Erica.
next time.
Erica.
Bye, everyone.
Until the next time.
Right, Janina,
So,
have
yes.
you a short one? Oh,
I do.
because we
I
don't
do.
want to cut you short.
No.
That's okay. So, oh, yeah, quick. No, it's fine. Okay. Yes, I do. So, this story also happened way back, right at the beginning of everything. There lived a carpenter. That's right. And he lived in a house that was perfect for him on one side of an enormous hill. And on the other side of the enormous hill lived a blacksmith. Oh, thank you. There lived a blacksmith. On the other side of the enormous hill. Carpenter, blacksmith. Carpenter, all day, every day, would make things from wood. That's what carpenters do. All day, every day, the blacksmith would make things from metal. That's what blacksmiths do. And on top of the enormous hill, there sat a house. A very big house. It's okay, darling. It's okay. My wonderful assistant is getting me some props. She's just got me an enormous house.
So do I.
An enormous house. And that enormous house is on top of the enormous hill. And inside the enormous house lived a very rich man. all day long. Ah, yeah, all day long. The rich man drank handmade blueberry water. Thank you. That you made, yeah. And his life was perfect. He had everything he could possibly want. He had an enormous swimming pool. He had a 12-screen cinema inside his house. He had tennis courts. He had a BMX track. He had everything that he could possibly want inside his house. But all day, every day, from the east, all he could hear was as the carpenter built things from wood. And all day long, when the wind was blowing in the other direction from the west, all he could hear was ding, 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 as the blacksmith made things from metal. And this sound, I know I could, couldn't I? And these sounds got inside his head. Oh, and they annoyed him so much that all of the riches in the world could not appear. So one day, he invited the carpenter and the blacksmith to his house to sit down and have a delicious meal. At the end of the delicious meal, the very rich man said, "Ah, my neighbors, I would like you to be as happy as I am here in my perfect house, with my perfect life, with my perfect drink. Here, take this." And he pushed an enormous pile of money across the table to the carpenter. And he pushed an enormous pile of money across the table to the blacksmith. And he said, "Here, take this money and go buy the house of your dreams far away. Go buy the house of your dreams with all of this enormous pile of money, and then you too will be as happy as I am. I just want you to be happy." The carpenter and the blacksmith said, "Okay, thank you very much." And they took their enormous piles of money and they disappeared. Exactly 1 week and 1 day later, the very rich man invited them both back to his house on top of the hill for another meal. They came round and they sat and they ate and they drank and they drank and they ate. And they had a wonderful time. And at the end of the meal, the very rich man said, "Ah, my dear neighbours, how did you get on with your little mission, finding your perfect houses?" Carpenter said, "Well, you'll never believe it, but we've been successful. Both of us, we've both found the perfect place for us to live. It's incredible. My new house has got a huge workshop with wall space enough so that I can hang up all of my saws and all of my carpentry tools." And the blacksmith said, "Yes, you'll never believe it, but my house has an enormous workshop, space enough for all my anvils and all my hammers. It's incredible. These houses are perfect." "Ah," said the rich man. "Very good, very good. So you'll be moving out very soon, will you?" Oh, yes, said the carpenter and the blacksmith. "We'll be moving out tomorrow as it goes. Yeah, tomorrow. It's so sad to be leaving our houses, but, They left. And as they were leaving, the very rich man said, "Here, take some wine. It's so lovely to see you. I'll be so sad to see you leave. Bye-bye. Let me know where you live, where your new houses are, and I'll come and visit you. Yes, maybe I could come round to your new houses and you could cook for me. How about that? That would be nice, wouldn't it?" "Oh, yes," said the carpenter. "Oh, yes," said the blacksmith. "That would be lovely. Hello, David." And the very rich man said, "Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. Thank you. Oh, one thing though, you need to tell me where your new houses are so I can come and visit you. I don't know where you live." "Where are you moving into?" Carpenter said, "Oh, don't worry. It's really easy to find my new house. It's actually so easy to find. You won't believe it." He said, "You see, I am moving in to the blacksmith's house, and the blacksmith is moving into mine. We couldn't be happier." So the very rich man said, "Oh, Okay. Now to this day, whenever the wind blows in the right direction from over here, all the very rich man hears is from over this direction. All the very rich man hears is ding, 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 ding. And that is the story of the carpenter and the blacksmith. And that's the story that I told you. And if you enjoyed it, maybe you can go and tell somebody else.
Definitely. But I think mine's going to be a congressman. Well, never mind.
Take it, twist it, tell it, go.
It was very appropriate for me, Janina, because
Really?
just before Bubba asked me that question and put me on the spot, an enormous helicopter had gone just above the roof of the house opposite. I live right next to Silverstone Grand Prix.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, I was like, oh my God, that's going to take the chimney out. And then all of a sudden I'm going, oh my God, why is the devil cross? You know? So noise was a big factor of what was going on. So thank you.
Oh, Norman's just asked me where I got that story from. Thanks ever so much for asking, Norman. To be honest, I can't remember. I can't remember. You know, sometimes you take stories from other tellers, or other tellers give you stories, or you read it in a compilation or something. That's just one that I've just always known. It's just kind of in my bones, part of me. I don't know. So please take it.
Okay.
I've given it to you. It's yours now.
I
Take
tell
it,
the
tell it.
story already, and I've
Oh.
lost the source.
Oh, okay.
And I know it as a Chinese story, and I title it Ting and Clang, as you can guess who is who.
Oh.
I love that. Wow.
Now,
And,
see, you were talking about not knowing the source. A lot of the stories I tell, I got from sitting with other storytellers, and sometimes we have an Oreo, which is an expression I don't like, but we have an Oreo where we're all telling stories, or we're sitting at the dinner, having a huge dinner at the host for whatever the event was, and we're just exchanging stories. And by the end of the night, there are three things that can be guaranteed. We'll all have fat bellies. Some of us will have had a little bit too many adult beverages, and stories will ferment in our minds, but we won't know where we got them from. So Norman and Yanea, you remind me so much of that. Thank you. And thank you, Norman, for your kind words. You too, Yanea.
You're so
Yay!
welcome. Yeah.
She's a great storyteller.
Folks, it has been a fantastic evening. I'm sorting out the Friday nights to come. Our next, this Sunday at 6 o'clock is the Worldwide Story Round. And Tuesday, of course, because David just popped in the end to remind me of this. Tuesday is our young international tellers. Erica, who was here earlier, is one of our regulars. But the Tuesday nights are becoming amazing because all those young tellers that are telling every week, they're now, I mean, they started off good. They're just amazing now. And I'm wondering why I've got the audacity to charge people when I go out now because of this lot. But it's all good. David's trying to say something.
It's a story that be good to the that it is amazing. Amazing. That what little kid is I can't remember what name or amazing or I can't
You can't express it. It's just Tuesdays are like that, aren't they? Tuesdays just they as the expression goes, every Tuesday they knock the ball out of the park.
That's an American expression.
Yes, I know. I put that in specially for you, Baba. And
know it was-
Norman, of course.
Oh.
It's a North American expression encompassing both of the great countries of North America. Right, right now, thank you very much. Ali, thank you so much for just getting it together.
Thank you, Ali.
And, you know,
Ali.
fantastic. Managing to buy the guests their train tickets and get this going simultaneously. You are a magician, Ali. So
Ali should be a stunt driver for movies and
yeah,
television.
yeah.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? It was
Hurtling,
Yes.
hurtling through the medieval streets
Yeah.
of Marrakesh to get this on. Fantastic.
Incredible.
Well, good night, everybody.
Thank
See
you,
Monday.
Janina. Thank you, Baba-C. Thank you, John.
Pleasure's
Yeah.
mine.
Good night.
Thanks very much.
Lovely to see
Thank
you
you.
all.
Asante
fun.
Sana, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You,
Good
bye.
See
fun.
you guys
Bye.
Sunday.
Thanks, then. Bye.
Right. And I'm going to end this.